It has been such a long time since I was the second speaker because I usually is placed in the final one. Okay, let's start. What is the first thing that motivated you to join Toastmasters? And then would you like to answer?
I think that I want to learn English with all of the Toastmasters, so I came to this club.
Thank you. Lots of people say they want to improve English speaking ability. But after joining Toastmasters, they find the Toastmasters is like a variety. It's like a variety session every day because we can join lots of activities. And then some members become more involved in activities. And after a few semesters, some members would say, oh, I don't think I have improved English that much. And then they decided to leave. Having been in Toastmasters for more than 5 years, I have seen this happening over and over again. Therefore, in order to improve English, I recommend all of you to study a piece of English every day. The best way is to practice, and practice more. To start, we don't have to be good. But to be good, we have to start, and start again. Not just only start. Here are 3 specific ways to practice English in daily life. First, listen to a piece of English speech every day, such as Studio Classroom or 10 minutes TED Talk. We can not only improve our listening skills, but also learn some ideas in the speech. Second, switch our smartphone and Facebook website to English mode. Because this forces ourselves to expose in an English environment. Just like when we are in US, we are on the main street, we have to speak English to most of the people. Last but not least, try to understand some English vocabulary whenever we can. For instance, we can at least know some words and phrases in every Toastmasters meeting, especially the good usage recommended by the language evaluator and general evaluator. We can also write down the good words and new sentences, and then look up in the dictionary. We can keep a notebook like this. I remember last summer, some friends asked me how to improve English in a few days or weeks because they want to take the TOEFL exam or prepare for an interview. Now I understand how anxious they feel and recommended them some public resources. I don't think it is likely to work because the preparation time is really little. People who succeed make efforts for a long time, not only in the short preparation period. There goes a saying, Rome was not built in a day. According to a forum related to studying abroad, many people cram for English exams and then they feel like they improve relatively little than they expected. After staying in Toastmasters for 1 year or more, we may feel like we didn't improve that much because when we join Toastmasters, we have to get acquainted to the environment, so we learn very fast, and then we started to learn slower because the things are more difficult. So here comes the question. Why do we want to improve our English ability? I know that someone may have the dream to go to US, but someone don't. I would like to emphasize English is the main language used to communicate with knows this, but I didn't think it is that important. Because as an electrical engineering major, when I read a textbook, the most part is equations. So if I could understand these equations, I didn't need to know much of the work. Nevertheless, when we need the knowledge, we regret that we are lacking it. That's why we are willing to learn. After getting into graduate school, all of a sudden, I had to read a lot of papers and to attend an international conference, all in English. Suddenly, I realized the importance of using a universal language, and when it's time to use it, I didn't have much time to prepare. I felt I was fortunate because I joined Toastmasters and I have been constantly practicing English university, so I didn't feel very nervous in these situations. As for non-academic and non-practical reasons, English provides us to view the globe with a different perspective, including making new friends around the globe. Having international friends makes our lives more exciting and colorful. For example, one of my Indonesian friends told me he always goes out of his house to the cafe nearby just for internet use. It sounds unimaginable in Taiwan, isn't it? Another friend in the US told me that the students working in the lab don't use BBS and don't log into Facebook when they are working. And then they get home early. So they work with more efficiency. Moreover, we get to have more options in listening to songs and watch movies. Every time when I was watching TV, I would like to read the subtitles. But after improving my English listening skills, I feel I am not so dependent on the subtitles, so I can enjoy the scene more. Watching Western movies can be more enjoyable. Many a little makes a miracle. To improve our English, let's start with a piece of English every day. We don't have to spend 3 hours a day studying English, but we can spend 20 minutes, so it will be easier to keep on. Any questions? Does anyone have questions? Thank you for this question, General Evaluation. This is a very good question. And I usually select materials based on recommendations by friends. And I think most materials like TED and Studio Classroom and CNN are very good because they speak English in a very professional way. Benjamin. Honestly, I have to say yes. But when we learn a new word, what we learn is not only the word, but also the related words. If we look at the word polite, we can see the word with opposite meaning, that's impolite, and then we can learn two words together. So, although it takes a lot of time, what we get is not only the vocabulary, but also the related ones. to Ivy for this very important question because I remember that this is what I did in high school. So usually when reading an article and we encounter a word that we don't know, we can just write it down and then keep on reading if we don't think the word directly affects the sentence's meaning. And sometimes I like to keep a pen and paper and write down all the words that I don't know when I am reading. But after that, sometimes I become lazy, so I didn't want to look it up. And then when I feel that, oh, I must know the words or I won't understand, then it will force me to look up. And then at least I'll learn the words. And I'll feel like the words, oh, I've seen it for several times, but I still didn't know. And this will gives me the motivation.
What if we encounter that the words that don't appear so frequently, or it's a slang that you can look it up in a dictionary, or what should we do?
There are two cases for this situation. The first one is the word is a professional noun, a noun that usually appears in academic textbooks. So if we are not majoring in that field, we don't have to know the word, it's okay. And for the second case, the word was made up by the person. Maybe it's a misspell or something else. Maybe, well, we can Google for the slang. And Google is a good dictionary. Wow, so many questions. Okay, Bill.
Your major is that academic word and how to use it.
I'll look up in academic books. It is for the general case for studying English. So if there is an exam tomorrow, we don't have to study English tonight because exam is more important. But I don't think we have exams on Saturday.
I want to ask why I can understand what you are talking about, and I can understand what the textbook are talking about, but I cannot figure it out. Why?
In my opinion, listening also takes practice. So if we don't understand what the speaker says, we can ask he or she to speak slower, and so we get more chances to listen. Or we can record and go and listen when we are at home. So I think joining Toastmasters is a very good way to improve our listening. Because when we stand on stage, maybe we have 5 minutes to 7 minutes, but if we listen, we can listen for the whole meeting, from the variety session and to GLE and even the wartime.
How can we work on, like, foreigners tend to link two words together in terms of pronunciation, and when we're listening to some foreigners talking, we tend I think I have difficulty to understand that kind of pronunciation. So how can I work on that?
Well, I also think this is a big problem when we first listen to foreigners speaking English. So if we get acquainted to their accent, then we can understand more. So actually most people think that going to US is better than staying in Taiwan and listen to international or Taiwanese people speaking English is better because we can know more accents in the US, so we can improve faster. This time is up. If you have more questions, I'll be glad to answer them during intermission. Toastmaster of the evening.